Hi, I'm Tony Richards, and today I'm going to take you around San Francisco and look at buildings designed by Bernard Maybeck. So we're here at the iconic Palace of Fine Arts. The Palace of Fine Arts was part of the 1915 Panama Pacific International Exhibition, which was built on what is now known as the Marina District. Originally it was a swamp area, and a lot of the debris from 1906 was placed in this area, and they built all the fair buildings out of plaster and burlap, meant to last just for the duration of the fair. So San Francisco was devastated in 1906 by the earthquake and fire, and they wanted to host a World's Fair to show that they had been reborn, in a sense. So the fair took up blocks and blocks of real estate where the Marina District is now. And the story behind this building is a little interesting. One of the chief architects for the fair was Willis Polk. Willis Polk is a renowned architect of many buildings in San Francisco. He's probably best known for the Bourne Mansion at the south end of Crystal Springs Reservoir called Filoli. Filoli was a house, the house featured in the TV show Dynasty back in the 80s. Anyway, Willis Polk was assigned to design something for this spot, and he was upset because he said they gave me the worst place in the fair to put a building. It's in the middle of a mud hole. So Bernard Maybeck at the time, who was also a renowned architect, business for him at the time was slow, and he took a job working for Willis Polk as a draftsman. And well, Willis Polk was complaining about this bum site he'd been assigned to. Maybeck did some sketches and said, hey, I got an idea. So Polk liked the sketch, and he has to do a better drawing. So Maybeck designed the lagoon, the swamp, where the swamp was, got turned into a lagoon, and the buildings behind it. And Polk took the Maybeck's sketches to the board, and they liked it. So they said, let Maybeck do it. If you don't want to do it, Polk, let Maybeck design it. So Maybeck's vision was a Roman temple, or a Greek or a Roman temple, and designed so the visitor would experience the lagoon and walk through the rotunda and back to the exhibition hall in back of the building, which is that low-slung building in a horseshoe that goes around the rotunda to view the fine arts that were on display inside. So Maybeck agreed to design the building working for draftsman's wages, but he wanted the building to remain after the fair was over with and fall into ruin. So after the fair, with the help of Phoebe Hearst, they kept the building, and it remained built out of plaster and burlap for years. And then in the early 60s, I can remember as a kid, the place was falling down in chunks, and there were holes in the dome of the roof, and the city rebuilt it in concrete. They took the original plaster and made casts out of it, and so the detail you see on the building today is exactly like the original, although it's actually a reproduction of the original. Today it's built out of steel and concrete, not plaster and burlap over a wood frame like the original. So Maybeck had said he wanted the place to remain after the fair and fall into ruin, which it eventually did fall into ruin. So this is the Earle C. Anthony Packard Showroom, Maybeck designed in 1927. Earle C. Anthony was the California distributor for Packard. Maybeck also designed Anthony's home in Los Angeles and the Packard dealership in Oakland, which sadly got torn down, I believe, in '73. This one still stands. You can see the resemblance between this and the Palace of Fine Arts. Then I found out Maybeck drove a Packard. So this building has imported marble on the inside and lots of unusual details. So the building is now home to British Motor Cars. For a car showroom back in the day, it was truly beautiful. It still is. This is the Family Service Agency building that Maybeck designed in 1927. It's a little bit of a departure from his usual arts and crafts look. It's kind of Spanish Mediterranean. I never knew it existed until recently. Instead of just a straight building, it's articulated. The elevation, it steps in and out and has little tile roofs on it. One thing that's interesting about this building is the metal industrial sash on the windows. It has gives it an industrial look. It's very practical. It's something they used to do back in the 30s and 40s, is the industrial sash instead of wood. Notice the playful architectural elements in blue that maybe I'd like to use sometimes on his buildings. On Stockton Street, North Beach, just half a block from Washington Square. And this is the Telegraph Hill Neighborhood Association building that Maybeck designed in 1926 for the Telegraph Hill Neighborhood Association. It's built around a courtyard, and it was used as their office building, and it's still being used as offices. What I like about it is it looks like a Swiss chalet style, and it's board and batten for the most part. Above the bottom floor, it's board and batten, and 2 top floors. It just feels like it's belongs somewhere else. This is a Swedenborgian Church here in Pacific Heights. It was built in 1895. A young architect, Bernard Maybeck, was one of the architects on it. At the time, he worked for A.H. Brown. So outside doesn't tell you that much. The inside is very beautiful and rustic. I don't think we get in today. But anyway, it was one of its earlier projects. The chimney's kind of Here we are at the Forest Hill Clubhouse, built in 1919. Forest Hill is like a planned community from the early 20th century in western San Francisco. This style is like a Tudor style. Looks like an old English pub, if you would. With the half timbers up above and the brick down below. A little bit departure, but Maybeck has used this formula in other houses, like over in Berkeley. And it's built around this lovely courtyard. Maybeck actually designed 3 houses in the Forest Hill area, and most of his residential work was actually across the bay in Berkeley. There's a couple of houses he designed over in Marin County, but the majority of his residential projects were in Berkeley. The residences he designed in San Francisco are considered to be some of his most beautiful. Okay, this is 2134 Van Ness right here. My mother's accountant was in this building for 40 years. My mother said Maybeck designed the building. I can't find any record of it, and it sure looks like he did, but maybe not. So if anybody knows who designed this building, please let us know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the Maybeck tour. Thanks for watching.